guys, today we're going to be doing something that I never do on my channel, and we are going to be doing a full face of one brand. And the brand that we're going to be using today, you've already seen in the title, and that is Wet n Wild. I went kind of crazy on their website, I want to say a week and a half ago, and I got my order yesterday, and I'm so excited to dig into all of these. Now, I will say that the foundation I've already tried, and I know I like it, but I don't have my shade currently, so hopefully the one that I got is going to be a better match for me. But other than that, I mean, most of these things are going to be first impressions, so I think I have a full face of makeup. I'm not sure if I'm missing a step. I don't think I am, but I think we should just get into it. So I'm going to start off by using the Photo Focus Rose Primer Serum because I really like the, wow, I don't know where anything is. I really like the Farsali Unicorn Drops. So I figured what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Wet n Wild on one side and then use my primer on the other, just so we can kind of see if the primer actually does anything. And because I know how the other one responds to my skin, it's going to be a lot easier to see if it's the primer's fault or if something else isn't working. So I think that's what we're going to start off with. So I'm gonna have to unwrap all of these things as we go because I probably should have done that before starting this video, but clearly didn't think of that. And this bottle is so pretty. Look at this. It's gorgeous. And somehow these two contain the same amount of product, which I found kind of strange because this one looks like it has so much more in it. Definitely doesn't smell the same. This one smells a lot more like just chemically, I guess. It just doesn't smell that good, you know, whereas the Unicorn Drops definitely smell a lot sweeter and just like, I don't know, fresh. So I'm gonna get my hair out of the way because it's gonna be tough to do my makeup without it. Okay, so I guess I'll start off by putting the Farsali on this side and then I'll do the Wet n Wild on that side. So let me do it the Instagram way, which I never do because it's just very messy. And then we'll do the Wet n Wild on this side. Oh, it just feels so wrong to be dripping stuff on my face. So let me know as we go if you have tried any of these products and how you feel about them, because I feel like a lot of people really like Wet n Wild as a brand, myself included, from what I've tried so far. So I'm really excited to dig into the rest of this. So I'm gonna find a foundation. And I got mine in the shade Soft Beige, so hopefully this is going to work. I'm not really sure. I don't remember which shade I used last time when I used to use this, but it's probably been like 2 years now since I've actually used this foundation. And the smell is just the way I remembered it. And definitely the one thing I hate about this foundation is the applicator, and this shade actually looks pretty good, so we'll see how this goes. I feel like this is going to be my perfect shade right now, and it might be a little bit too light in the summer, but maybe not. And I never know how much to use because of this stupid applicator. But let's try that. So I'm just taking my, what is this? I think it's a crown brush, I'm not really sure. So I mean, this is blending out beautifully, which I kind of expected because like I said, I have tried this foundation before and I really do like it. The smell isn't as strong as I remembered it to be when I put it on my face. Maybe because I'm so used to my Dior foundation, which smells so strong. So I definitely ended up getting the right shade, and this looks really nice. Actually, like looking up close, I don't see any difference in the primers really. They look pretty much the same. So this is the concealer that I'm going to use. It is the Photo Focus Concealer, and I got mine in the shade Light Neutral. And this I have never tried before, but the shade looks to be, let's just put it on and see. That looks to be a pretty good shade for me. And upon first application, it's actually very thick, which I kind of like a thick consistency in my concealers. It's one of those that you really have to dip into many times though, which is kind of annoying, but you know, what can you do? I feel like a lot of the drugstore concealers are like that. So let's see if this is enough now. And I know a lot of people will do half their face with a sponge and half their face with a brush, but since I never use sponges, it doesn't make sense to me to really do that. So like it blends out really nicely. And I would say this is probably pretty full coverage. Maybe more on the medium side, but like medium to full. And I also did not use as much concealer as I know a lot of people do, so So far I like how this is looking. Obviously I do have lines under my eyes because I'm human, and so it's going to sink into my lines, and I don't really care about that because I'm gonna put on a shit ton of eyeshadow after and just cover that up anyway. So yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Now we need to set this. And I'm going to use the, I guess everything is just called photo focus. I don't know why I keep looking at the names of everything when it's just like the photo focus line. So this is the photo focus translucent setting powder, and there is a shit ton of powder in here. I don't know how much you're getting, but it looks like, wow, 20 grams of powder. That's a lot of powder. So it's got a giant sifter on top here, which I need to find a peel, which is always so hard. I might be here until tomorrow. I'm really struggling right here. This is so hard to get off. Oh my god, I wish I had a tweezer in here, but it's in the bathroom and I'm way too lazy to go get it. Oh, I think I got it. I do really like the packaging of this. It's just very no fuss. You basically just dump it into the cap and that's it. Not like the other powder that I tried recently that had a mirror in the cap. I was like, what are you doing? Why? So let me go ahead and set this. I'm not really going to pat out any creases because it's going to crease anyway, so I don't understand how people can be like, oh, I'm just going to go in and like pat out any creases under my eyes and then it's going to be fine. I'm like, well, is that because you don't have any lines at all? Because I have lines, so that really doesn't do anything. And first impression wise, I like this powder. I'm not super picky with my powders, but I've definitely tried powders that I didn't really like. But so far I like this. I like that it's kind of a thicker consistency. I definitely prefer like the thicker powders because I feel like they keep me matte for longer. Okay, let's see up close what this is looking like. Wow, that actually looks really nice. I feel like that actually kind of blurred quite a bit, so I like that powder so far. Let's see, what is next? So far we are 3 out of 3. Have I tried 3? I've tried 3 products, so far so good. Let's do brows. And the one that I ended up picking up is called the Ultimate Brow Micro Brow Pencil, and I got mine in the shade Brunette. And I will of course link all these products down in the description box so that if you are interested you can go check it out and see if there is more information that you want to know about these products. So let us see what this looks like. So we have a spoolie and a pen side. Looks like a nice thin pencil, and the spoolie feels pretty soft. Well, that feels really soft actually. I like that a lot. So I'm just going to fast forward with me doing this and then I'll tell you my thoughts after because this is gonna take a while. So far not a lot of pigment, I will say that much. Okay, so I guess I just had to warm it up a bit. And it is a little bit waxier than what I like in a brow pen. Like I feel like it's taken a little more time to really get the pigmentation that I like. And I'm one who needs to obviously draw on my whole eyebrow, so I prefer something that can be done pretty quickly. And when something is very waxy, it usually tends to take a bit longer. So I like the color of this a lot. I think the color is really nice on me. It's just, it's a bit too waxy like I said, so it's not going to be a new holy grail eyebrow pen for me, but I don't hate it and I'm not going to throw it away or anything. I mean, I think it works pretty good. One of my biggest pet peeves with eyebrow pens is when the caps are different sizes because I don't know which one goes on each end, and then I just end up putting the wrong one on the tip where the pencil is and I end up breaking it, so I really hate that. And I don't understand, especially when they're both black. Like, how am I supposed to know? Like, that is just annoying. So I like how it's looking in the end. I wasn't a huge fan of like the process of using it, but it's fine. And I think a lot of people are really going to like that. I'm just kind of picky with my eyebrow pens, and I like the ones that glide on a bit easier that I don't have to work with as much. So I think we should get into the rest of the face. I'm gonna take my hair down because otherwise my hair is gonna look crazy afterwards. So I did end up getting 2 of the brushes from the Wet n Wild collection too because I thought these were so cute. And this is, I think, a highlighting brush? Oh, it's a precision setting brush, so I probably could have used that to set, but I totally forgot. So I'll see if I can use this for blush maybe. And this is definitely going to be too stiff for blush, but I feel like this is going to be like the perfect setting brush, and that's kind of why I bought it, but then I forgot that I bought it, so yeah, we're probably not going to be using that today. I also got another brush, and I got one of their eyeshadow brushes, and this is a tapered blending brush, so it's very small, and I think I'm going to really like this. And it's hard to find small eyeshadow brushes at the drugstore, and I don't know if it's just me, but I feel like these are very similar to the ones that Jeffree just came out with, just like the handles on them and stuff. Like, they are super cute. Now obviously it's just plastic, it's not very good quality, but you know, they were cheap, so I feel like this is going to be a really nice crease brush. I have a good feeling about this. So let's do the face though. So I have a bronzer here that I want to try, and the one I picked up is the Bronze Dynasty. I think this is the one that isn't shimmery, because I know they had a matte bronzer, but they also had a shimmery one, and I think I picked up the matte, at least I hope so. So I definitely ended up getting the matte one, which is nice, and this has a dragon in it. Let me see if I can zoom you in enough so you can see that. Do you see that? Isn't that so cool? And I think this shape is going to be pretty good for me, so let's try it. I'm not going to do any contouring or anything today because I didn't buy any contouring products. And it's very, very, very subtle. It's definitely buildable. And I somehow think that this is almost too light for me, which is shocking because in the pan this looks a lot darker. Like, this looks like it would show up a lot more than it is. And I'm really digging my brush into it. So if you are someone who likes to build up your products very slowly, I think you would probably really like this. Because I like how this is looking now that I'm getting some color on here. It's just taken a bit of time to build up. It could also be that this is just very tightly pressed. And I think this would probably be better for someone who's a bit paler than I am. Now, I'm not saying at all that I am not pale because I'm pretty darn pale, but I know there are people out there that have much lighter skin tone than I do, and I feel like they would really, really like this because this has taken a long time for me to build up. Like, I probably dip into the pan 10 times on each side, and it gets a bit annoying after a while because I'm not someone who likes to spend a lot of time on my complexion. Like you guys know, I tend to spend most of my time on my eye makeup, and I like to just get this done pretty quickly. So you've seen now how many times I've dipped in, and I do like how it looks now that I've got it on. I think the color is really, really nice. I just don't know if I have the patience for this. Alright, so let's move on. I think I did end up getting a blush. You know what I just realized? I totally forgot to get a highlighter, but I think it's because I have a highlighter already, so I was like, I'll use that one because none of the ones I had on their site looked like they would work for me skin tone wise. But I did pick up a blush, and I got the Hummingbird Hype, which is a shimmery blush, and you guys know I like that. So I'm going to put this on, and then I'm going to find a highlighter that I have in my collection already and put that on, so it'll still be a full face of Wet n Wild. I'm pretty sure that's what I was thinking when I ordered that. So this looks really, really pretty, and it has a hummingbird on it, and I love that they have these little prints. So let's see how this looks. I feel like this could be a very versatile color for me. It's definitely very shimmery. I'm not really getting a lot of color from this. I definitely feel like this could be more of a topper, or maybe it's just a weird blush color for me, because I'm definitely used to blushes that are more on the cool tone and pink side, and I'm not really seeing this. Like, I'm just seeing some sheen on my face, but I'm sure a lot of people will use this as more of a natural looking blush, which is not something that I really have in my collection. So I don't know how I feel about this. It's almost like just putting a very light shimmery bronzer on my cheek, but I mean, this is called a blush, right? Yeah, it's a baked blush, so I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know, I feel like I would maybe use this more as a topper for something else. Alright, so I found my highlighter, and this is the one I have. It's in the shade Blossom Glow. And I do really like this highlighter. I think this is stunning. So we're gonna apply some of this now. And I really like how buildable this is, and that it's not like boom in your face blinding as soon as you put it on. I definitely prefer highlighters so they can build up instead of something that goes on like super pigmented, because I find it to be a little bit hard to get even and not be streaky. So nothing to say about that other than I really like it. I think it looks good on. So I think what I want to do next is I actually want to put on the lip products so that we can see how they wear while I'm doing my eyes. And I ended up getting a lip liner and a lipstick, but I think this is one of their shine lipsticks. Hang on, let's see. So it just says High Shine Lipstick, Mega Last Liquid High Shine Lipstick, and I got mine in the shade Petal Poison. And then I also got a lip liner, which is in the shade Lay Down the Mauves. And I do own one lip liner from Wet n Wild and I quite like it, so I have a feeling I'm going to like this one as well. So I'm not sure how this color is going to go with the lipstick, but we're gonna try it. So far I love the color of this. Do you see how much I overline my lips? It's not even funny. Like, let me show you how small my real lips are. See, this would be me like following my lip line, and this is me overlining. Now let's see if I can manage to open this lipstick. So here is what it looks like. It's really, really pretty. I like the packaging of these a lot. I like the metal. Doesn't really smell like too much. Again, it kind of smells like paint, which I feel like is the theme with Wet n Wild. Nothing really smells good, so let's see if this is gonna look good. So I mean, I don't know why they call this a lipstick because this feels like a gloss. I think it's beautiful though, and I think that color actually goes super nicely with the lip liner. So I actually love this combo. I think that is really pretty, and I definitely did not line my lips evenly, but oopsie daisy, what can you do? So I think we should get on to eyes now, and the palette that I bought is the Color Icon Eyeshadow Quad in the shade House of Thrones. Wait, House of Thorns, almost. This is what it looks like. It's very, very dark and grungy, and I have heard mixed opinions about this. A lot of people say it's not the same formula as the normal Wet n Wild palettes, which is why I wanted to try a Wet n Wild eyeshadow, because I wanted to try their normal formula, but I did not know that this wasn't the same, so we're gonna try it anyway. I did also end up buying a eyeshadow primer, and this one is called Only a Matter of Prime. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my MAC Paint Pot on one eye and then use this one on the other eye, just so I can kind of compare, so I know whether or not it's the eyeshadows or the primer that is doing weird things if something happens. So here is what the tube looks like. It's called the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Eye Primer, I think. Eyeshadow primer. And it comes in a tube, kind of like the P. Louise base. It does look to have some pigment to it, but it actually feels a lot like the Urban Decay primer. Like texture wise, I feel like this is one of those that's not really going to have any pigment when you put it on, and it's going to sheer out. So I guess I'll put this on my good eye now, or maybe I should do it on this side because this is where I have the Wet n Wild primer. So let's put this on the left side of my face. It also reminds me a little bit of the Milani eyeshadow primer, like the texture of it. Which honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of that primer. It's okay, but I definitely like my MAC Paint Pot way more. And I'm really surprised that more people don't do like the half and half when they're trying out new products, because I see so many people do first impression videos and it's like they put it all over their face, and then by the end they're like, I don't know what works because something doesn't and something does, and they just get really confused. So why not just, you know, test it out versus products that you know you already like? Especially if it's something that's not going to really show up, you know, like a primer or an eyeshadow primer and stuff like that. So on the other eye, I'm going to use my MAC Paint Pot and Soft Ochre. But like this lip combo though, that looks so pretty. I really like this lipstick slash gloss. I'm not really sure why they didn't call it a lip gloss. Because it's definitely sticky, like it's not going to ever dry down and be matte. So I don't know why they wouldn't call it a gloss. Like a high pigment gloss or something, I don't know. Okay, so here is the palette. It's actually really pretty. It's got like little rose details on the edges. Can you see that? Like, how cool is that? So let's just swatch them and see if these are going to be good. They feel very dry, and the shimmers also feel extremely dry. So I don't have very high expectations with this. Oh, that's not good. I mean, the shimmers look okay, but the mattes, yeah, not so sure about that. So we are, of course, going to be using all the shades because there's only 4 in here. So I'm first going to start off by taking the dark red matte shade and put that in my crease, and then I'm going to deepen it up with the black. And I'm going to use the brush that I got to do so with. So I'm just going to start by packing this into my crease now. And this is looking a lot more brown on my eye than it did in the pan. And this is on the MAC Paint Pot side, so still don't know what it's going to look like on the Wet n Wild primer, but we will find out very shortly. I mean, it's going on my eye. It's looking a little bit patchy. I feel like I'm going to have to take my time with this. This brush, on the other hand, though, is really, really nice. I like this a lot. I mean, after a little bit of working with the shadow, it's not looking bad at all. So let's see how this lays on top of the Wet n Wild primer now. Wow, that doesn't show up at all. Like, I need to really pack on the shadow in order for it to show up on the primer, which is kind of crazy. So I don't think this looks bad at all, but I definitely had an easier time putting it on my MAC Paint Pot side. I'm not sure if you can see any difference, but I definitely feel like it's more pigmented here and it's looking a lot smoother and it was easier to blend out. So I probably won't be using that Wet n Wild primer again. Maybe if I'm having troubles with another formula, I might try it to see if it works, but with this formula, I definitely like my MAC Paint Pot a lot more. I'm also going to bring this down to my lower lash line. I'm going to take that first brush that I use now and just try to buff out the edges. And I'm sorry if you can hear the airplane. I don't know why they are so loud right now. It does blend out pretty nicely though. I will say, if you're willing to put in the work with these shadows, they're not bad. And I already love this brush so much. This is the, did I say what this was called? But it's a P15. If you've been looking for kind of like a small fluffy brush, this one is really good. So what do we think about the shadow on the eyes? It's definitely a lot more pigmented in the pan, and I wasn't really able to build it up to, you know, what the pan actually looks like. But let's try this black shade now and see how that performs. And I'm just going to use my same brush, and I'm gonna first start out packing this in the outer corner, and then I'm gonna bring it through my crease. And already I feel like this might end up being a bit patchy, but it's definitely pigmented. And I also brought it down to my lower lash line just to deepen that up a bit too, and it does blend out pretty nicely. So I think that looks pretty good. And that was obviously on the side where the MAC Paint Pot is, and now I'm gonna try to put this on the Wet n Wild primer. So I feel like this is looking pretty even on both sides. I think I'm gonna go in with a bit more of that first shade that I put in my crease just to bring back that color a bit. And I'm not gonna use much, I just want to make sure that that color is still showing up and that it's not just looking all black. And I feel like this isn't really doing anything, so I might just skip it and leave it like this. Don't want to make this really any muddier. So I think for my lid, I don't really have much of a choice, so I'm first going to take this dark green that has a little bit of glitter in it, it looks like, and I'm gonna put that on the outer part of my eye, and then on the inner part I'm gonna go in with this kind of dark brown, bronzy, I don't even know how to explain this color, it's very strange. And there is no way I'm not going to spray this because this is very powdery and I do not want any fallout all over my face because this shadow is extremely dark. So let's just try to put that on the outer part of my eye now. And actually that's really pretty. Wow, I was not expecting that at all. I kind of figured that the glitter would just kind of go away, but I quite like how that looks. And I definitely could have done a cut crease with this look, but it's just not one of those days, you know? So let's try this last shade now. I'm going to take this one and I'm going to spray it as well. I do think I'm going to put something else in my very inner corner though, just because this is not going to be light enough for me. So I'm going to put that in the inner part of my eye. And I mean, you're definitely going to be getting a very grungy, dark look out of this palette if you decide to use all of the shadows, which is kind of what I expected, but I feel like they're sort of just muddying together a little bit. Like they're not really all that different. I feel like this shadow right here should have been a lot lighter in my personal opinion. Like I would have liked for this to be a very vibrant gold instead. So let me think, do I have something from Wet n Wild that I can put in my inner corner? And I don't think I do, so I'm going to take my Lime Crime highlighting palette and I'm going to go into this first shadow right here, which is like a peachy duochrome. It's absolutely stunning. It's like a white to peach to pink, and I love this. And I'm going to pop that right in here. I feel like that really tied the lips together with this eye look, so I'm really happy with how the look is looking, but I don't really like how the shadows performed, if that made any sense. I will say that the eyeshadow primer ended up being pretty good in the end, even though I didn't really like working on top of it, and I felt like my MAC paint pot definitely was a lot easier to work with, even though the result ended up being the same. So let's see, what do I want to do next? So I do have a Wet n Wild eyeliner, but I don't know if I want to use this. This is not one that I got in this haul. I've had this for a while, and it's the Skinny Tip eyeliner, the Mega Slim, and I wasn't a huge fan, but I guess I will use it still just because I don't have anything else from Wet n Wild. So maybe this time it's going to go better, because the first time I tried to use it, it almost seemed like it was a bit dry. So maybe it's a bit better now because I've been storing it upside down. Now, one thing I don't like about this is that the felt tip is just a little bit too stiff. I do like one that has a little more bendability. Is that a word? Bendiness? I don't know. But one that just bends a little bit easier. But I will say the pigmentation in this is definitely a lot better than the first time I used it. And I do kind of like how much control I can get with this. As I say that, I just smudged, but that was my own fault because I blinked. So moral of the story, don't blink when you're doing your eyeliner. Okay, so I guess the eyeliner turned out pretty good. Now I need to get a eyeliner like for my waterline, and I didn't buy one because I have some already. I think I do. At least I thought I did. Oh, that's right. I actually have one, and I have the pink one, so that turned out pretty good because I think this might end up looking pretty good with this look. And that was not planned at all. I was like, of course I have a Wet n Wild eyeliner. It turns out I only have one and I have a pink one, so I guess I'll put this on and then I'll do mascara after. And I do really like this eyeliner. I think this is a pretty good formula. So I actually like where this eye look is going now. I think this is looking pretty good. I feel like the eyeliner and the inner corner highlight really changed up this look. So I need to curl my lashes, and then I'm going to put on the mascara that I bought, and I got the Mega Slim Skinny Mascara, which I guess is the same thing as the eyeliner, just the mascara. And also, so far, these lip products are looking beautiful. I really, really like these. Ooh, that's a very interesting wand. I feel like those bristles are you going to focus? Probably not. But I feel like these bristles are not going to be long enough to really coat my lashes, but we will find out. I can't see this being really good for lower lashes though. Yeah, I mean, this is not really doing a whole lot if I'm being completely honest. So I can't even really build this up to do much. And I think if you like very natural looking lashes, you might like this, but I can't say I'm a fan. So I just want to show you the difference between this one and my Bad Gal Bang, because this is now like 2 layers of the Wet n Wild mascara. And this is a Bad Gal Bang after 1. Like, I can see such a big difference. Because on this side, they're just looking so much fuller and longer, and like they're actually there. So I'm gonna put some of this on the other side too and cheat, but I don't want my lashes to look like this the rest of the day, so I do not care. If there's one thing I am picky with, it's my mascara. I always find it so funny when people are like,
I hate spending money on mascara. I don't care what mascara I use. I'm like,
you clearly have not tried a good mascara before, because they make such a difference. I mean, unless you wear false lashes, but since I don't, I'm going to use the Wet n Wild one on my lower lash line though, because I feel like it's going to be perfect for this. It's definitely a lot better for my lower lashes, but I still just don't feel like I'm getting a lot of product onto my lashes. I think that's what the problem is. Like I said, I feel like the bristles on this one are just not really long enough to be able to coat my lashes, and that the product just sort of stays on the brush. But I mean, whatever. I don't really care that much what my lower lashes look like, and I don't need those to be super long because they're pretty long to begin with. So I didn't buy any setting sprays or anything because in the winter and in the colder months I don't really use setting sprays, so I'm not going to use it today for that reason. But I'm actually really happy with how this look turned out. I think it's very grungy. I think it's the kind of look that I wouldn't normally do or think of doing, but since I only had this quad to work with, it just sort of ended up this way. So to sum up, let's look at the primer for a second. Yeah, both sides are looking great, so I guess I like the primer, and I guess if this is going to work as well as my Farsali unicorn drops, maybe I will switch over to the Wet n Wild. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this wears. I will leave a pinned comment so you can see how this ended up wearing on me, because I'm going to edit and upload this the same day, so I can't really do like a wear test, because if I do a wear test and I'm not done with that until 10 p.m, I'm not going to have time to like edit and upload it. So I will just put a pinned comment or put it in the description box how things wore. So yeah, foundation, love the foundation. Powder, love the powder. The concealer I also really liked. I felt like it had nice coverage, it blended out easily. Don't really have any complaints about that. I will for sure keep using it. Bronzer, a little bit unsure. I felt like it took too much time to build up, but once I got it on, I think it looks pretty good. I think the color is good on me. It was just a bit much work to get it to where I wanted it to be. The blush, I can't even find it, but not a huge fan. I don't really see it as a blush. Maybe it's like a natural blush. Maybe it's a blush for someone who's paler than me. Maybe it could be a highlight for someone who's darker than me. I'm not really sure, but for me, it didn't really feel like it was a blush. The highlight I already had. No, I love it. The eyeshadow primer, I mean, it looks good. I just wasn't really having a good time working with it. Maybe I have to try it again and see if I like it more with other shadows that aren't as powdery. As for the eyeshadows, I mean, obviously you can see they're pigmented. They're on my eyes. They're showing up. They were a little bit hard to build up and work with, but I was able to blend them out nicely. So I guess I don't really hate them. They're just not the kind of formula that I would gravitate towards. Like, I don't think that if they come out with another quad that I'm going to buy it, unless it's a color story that I really, really like. But they are cheap, so I mean, you kind of have to take price into consideration too when you are reviewing drugstore products. At least I feel like you do, because when something is cheaper, obviously they can't use the best ingredients, so the quality is just not going to be the same as, you know, products at Sephora. So I mean, looking at my eyes, I think they perform pretty good, even though the process of getting it to that point was a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, I can't really complain. The eyeliner I already had. I actually liked it more the second time I tried it than I did the first time. The mascara, I hate it. I'm sorry. I thought it was terrible. Oh, and the brow pen, I was kind of iffy about. I think if you like a brow pen that's a bit more on the waxy side, I think you would really like this. I think the color is really nice on me, actually. And I think if I could find that color in the CoverGirl brow pen, then I would probably switch over, because I feel like these brows are looking a bit better on me color-wise than the ones I've been doing recently, because they've been more on the cool tone side, and this is more on the warm tone side while still being kind of dark. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm really happy with this look. The lip products I absolutely love. Love the lipstick that they call it. This one I think is beautiful. The lip liner is really, really nice too. Went out very smoothly, and they're both very comfortable now that I've been wearing it for like 30 minutes. So yeah, I think that's going to sum up the video. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with everything that I bought, and I don't really regret anything except for maybe the bronzer. So yeah, I think that's going to be it. Let me know if you tried any of these products and what your opinion on them was. I would love to know, because everybody has different opinions about makeup, and that's what makes it so much fun. So thank you so much for watching. If you are new to my channel, I would love it if you would consider subscribing, and I will see you in my next one.